So, when it comes to the teacher's role in supporting learning, improving planning and practice, upholding professional expectations, and collaboratively advancing the profession, I wholeheartedly believe that the teacher should take a lead role in all of those. What's interesting about these characteristics is that they all are characteristics of the job of a teacher. If I don't support learning and improve my planning and practice, then not only do I suffer, but what's unique from other um, industries is that my kids suffer. And if my kids suffer, then a generation suffers. So if a teacher is not taking a lead role in all of these characteristics, they are not only affecting themselves, but they're negatively affecting a generation. So it's super important that teachers are taking a lead on all of these. The dispositions that I currently possess to make me a successful teacher are one, that I exude curiosity, respect and diversity for others, and high expectations. If a child is not curious, they're not going to want to learn. Retention goes down, and then what is the classroom for? When it comes to respect of diversity of others, that is super important, especially when you're working in particularly low-income environments. And it's important to empathize where they come from, empathize the lifestyle, empathize what they may be going through in order to achieve the level of proficiency that you want. And last but not least, you always have to have high expectations. Setting higher expectations from where kids may be normally accustomed to setting their expectations puts almost like a battery in their back to constantly be achieving higher expectations, not only in school, but in other things, maybe in sports, maybe in their personal life, maybe in their financial life. So setting those high expectations and motivating them to work towards that is super important in the classroom. Two things that I need to work on are advocacy and compassion. As teachers, we have so much power in the classroom. We are conducting and really infiltrating the minds of 30 different individuals at a time. On top of that, we have constant communication with parents, which are other individuals in the community. So it's important that if we're gifted and really earn this seat of power, we should be using it wisely and helping the other people in the community that could use the help. And compassion is super important. We're dealing with kids here. What you could say can have an immensely lasting impact on the lives of kids. So it's important to stay compassionate. What effects do personal bias have on teaching and learning? They could have a very damaging relationship to a student and a teacher. For example, let's say if a teacher has a bias towards IEP students, they may say that IEP students are not as smart as regular students, probably won't get an A or B as hard as they try, and probably the worst one will take even more work and extra time and effort to get them to proficiency, even if they can get there. This can have a very negative impact on how you interact with students in the future. When an IEP student comes up to you and asks you for a question, having that bias is going to cloud how you can best help that student. And how do we take those biases into perspective? Biases are inherently human. We all have them. Through the deductive reasoning in our world and the things that we're fed in society, we all have biases. As a teaching professional, it's important to be aware, acknowledge those biases when they do come up, but then realizing that they are just biases, putting them to the side, and then acting along with the dispositions and that we talked about earlier as a teacher, right? Fairness, high expectations, being curious, okay? So again, realizing that biases are inherently human, but acknowledging those biases and making sure that you have a support around you, either digital or human, that helps you analyze when you do these biases or when you have these biases, and then course correcting so that you're getting the job done. And last but not least, how will I uphold and adhere to the academic and professional integrity as a teacher candidate? That's very simple. It's really grounded in my why. As a teacher, I came to the education industry to ignite curiosity into the hearts of kids. I came in to teach kids that no matter where you come from, Black, Brown, Puerto Rican, Haitian, wherever you're from, if you put in the work and you stay curious and you stay hungry, you stay passionate, the sky's the limit. So whenever or if ever I think about veering off of the academic and professional integrity route, I ground myself in my why, and that is enough to make sure that I don't veer off the path and lose the position that I've earned in this community.